Hi, welcome back. It's me, Nathan, and let's get to it. Today I'm gonna talk about Medaka Box. I finished the manga in 3 days. It was a wonderful ride. If you have the chance, I suggest you go read it. It's a wonderful manga. I love it with a passion. It's so good. And today I didn't want to talk about the story of Medaka Box as much as I wanted to talk about Zenkichi Hideyoshi, probably my favorite character in Medaka Box. Medaka Box works so well because it is about the main character Medaka, who is the most special human being to ever be born. Medaka is the best at anything she does, by far. She's an exceptional person. She's a light in the darkness. She's everything you would expect out of a protagonist, right? And at the same time, she also exemplifies all of the worst qualities of shonen protagonists. Whether it's the over-eagerness to fight, whether it's throwing them a senzu at the last minute, whether it's giving them an opportunity, never dodging the first attack. I think that's what makes Medaka, right? She's abnormal. She is different. She is probably the most different person in the universe. And that's where Zenkichi Hideyoshi comes in. He's essentially her foil. He is the most normal person. He actively never does anything out of the ordinary. He is very normal. He's protective if anything. He's a hard worker, but he's never anything more than normal, right? He's never extraordinary. And that is to say that Hideyoshi is actually qualified to be like a normal person in the story, right? There are 3 groups of people in the story of Medaka Box. You have normal people who are just normal, don't have anything special about them, who just go about the day, most of us. Then we have special people, right? People who have a talent. Think of all of your friends who they can pick up a pen and pencil and just sketch something that you couldn't even dream of, or they just see art in a different landscape, or for some reason they've been doing track and field their whole life and you just can never keep up with them when you run with them, right? And then you've got abnormal people. Abnormal people is what Medaka, the group that she's in, and abnormal people are just people who are beyond special. Think about all the people you've ever met who, no matter what they picked up, they just succeeded in, right? The popular kids, the kids who, in one field or another, just defied logic. You've never seen anybody as good as them, and it just didn't seem like anything they could do could go wrong. Like, obviously they were stressed, they were people at the end of the day, but they were people that just kind of towered over us, right? They towered over, like, anything you thought possible. And the story follows Medaka, an abnormal person, somebody who is almost a perfect being, and Zenkichi, a normal guy, as he kind of like deals with her extraordinary antics. And it kind of begs the question, how does being normal affect you when you're surrounded by people who are better than you, in all honesty? And I think that's something that I've dealt with a lot in my life, where I've had like an imposter syndrome, where every time I looked at any of my achievements, I saw not me, but I saw the influence of the people around me, right? I was only able to like learn this information because I had people around me who were intelligent, or people around me who were special or abnormal. And Hideyoshi Zenkichi, true, never stops being a normal guy, right? He's in a story with superpowers and big problems that need to be solved by heroes. And Zenkichi never fades into the background, but instead he constantly tries and tries. And that isn't to say that he never gives up. No, he gives up a lot. Like, we do see him give up in the story. But wouldn't you? No matter how hard you work right now, right? If you are a normal person, somebody who has struggled with things, somebody who is constantly getting back up, how often have you given up? Like, think about it. And Medaka brings it up at one point, but those who are strong aren't strong because they win, but they're strong because they lose and have the strength to crawl back up. And Zenkichi exemplifies this. Zenkichi is constantly battered and bruised and beaten up by this story because he's not the main character, because he's not the focus. Zenkichi isn't supposed to win. He's somebody who's supposed to stay in the background and support. He's a supporting character. He's there, he has screen time, he develops, but he's a supporting character. But Zenkichi doesn't want to accept this, because to stay beside somebody who's so special in Medaka, somebody who's so special that he kind of go beyond what it means to be a person, Hideyoshi has to become something different, has to become special. And Hideyoshi doesn't know how to do this, and obviously the characters in the story like help him along this path. But even by the end of his story arc, Hideyoshi never stops being a normal guy. Like a normal guy, he caves and he realizes that just working hard isn't enough. That he does have to get the help of others, and that he does need to rely on other people, and he can't just go through life and just try hard and succeed. But that doesn't mean he loses his way. Even when offered everything in the world, when offered anything he could have ever wanted, even though he had to switch up on the gang, I'm not going to explain what that means, but he still was normal. Also, spoiler alert, if you don't want to be spoiled, click off the video right now. Just right now. The manga is great. Go read it. I'm going to start spoiling it. Like, really. Hideyoshi Zenkichi, when his story climaxes, he's asked by essentially what is the god of the world, do you want to be the main character? Do you want to be a main character to rival Medaka? And Hideyoshi, like any of us, says yes. Hideyoshi says, I want to not only beat Medaka, but I want to win. I want to win against Medaka, seriously. Even though she's the main character, even though she's the focus, I want to become the focus. I want to be somebody that nobody can look away from. Somebody special. Somebody abnormal. And he goes along with this, and he decides that he's going to join the what is essentially the bad guy and become the main character. Not a villain, not an antagonist, but just he's going to usurp Medaka as the protagonist of the story, right? And Zenkichi, when given the opportunity to take any power in the world, he chooses a power that defies any shonen protagonist. He chooses the power to cancel coincidence. And basically, right, if you've watched a shonen show or you watched any kind of shonen jump classic, you know that any hero always has luck and coincidence on their side. And Hideyoshi wants to remove all of it. Hideyoshi's ability isn't the ability to like cancel abilities or to become the strongest or to take Medaka by storm or to beat Medaka up. He just wants to win without any kind of coincidences, favorable or not. He wants to win fair and square. And as a result, he picked an ability perfect for that. And instead of trying to beat Medaka at a fist fight or by blowing up the school, he chose something that was a place where he could actually win. Zenkichi chose to beat Medaka by essentially running against her in the student council elections. Something entirely normal. But in his way, in his own way, by being a normal guy, by accepting his flaws, by actually accepting an ability, he chose to embrace his normality, his normalcy. And I think that's one of my favorite arcs in fiction. Zenkichi is a normal guy who's given the opportunity to become a powerful being. And instead of becoming a powerful being, instead of becoming a main character who can defeat any enemy with force, he becomes somebody who is a protagonist in his own right because he forgoes anything that any protagonist has ever done before. He chooses explicitly that he chooses the hardest road possible. He chooses to erase coincidences from his life, to be unlike any shonen protagonist before him, to take on an unbeatable foe in her playing field. She's the student council president. He decides to take her on in her domain. And I think that's the best arc. That's the best arc for a character. He's not a flat character. He changes. He accepts help from others. He becomes a better person. But at no point does he stop being normal. He's just another guy. And I think it shows us, people like me, who are entirely normal, that no matter what, there is a way to win. Against the people that you never thought were beatable. There is a way to win. I'm Nathan. this is what I do. If you like, subscribe, comment, and have a great day. Love you.